Welcome back to Everything EOS, the longest running EOS podcast. We are so stoked that you joined us live for another episode of Everything EOS right here on the Everything EOS channel. Now, before we jump into it, we have a pretty cool meme video from Max Moon that we wanted to show. So Zach, you want to pull up your screen? And show
Yes, sir. Let me make sure it's on. Computer audio on. All right.
Awesome.
Whoops. People looking at my notes.
Here we go.
All right. Here we go. Shout out to Max Moon.
I thought I had it all together, but I was led astray. The day you walked away, you were the clock that was ticking in my home. Changed my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love so hard to find.
we got him.
Oh, sorry, guys.
That took way too long to make.
Oh god, I was dying laughing. Zach sent that to me this morning. Shout out Max Moon. Go subscribe to Max Moon on YouTube. It's so good. It's such a good meme.
Oh man,
Him coming from the ceiling. We got us in the hallway. It was just so good.
do you know what that was from? That was from Elian Gonzalez. Remember him? Whenever he was like the little boy in Miami, the little Cuban boy, like a long time ago, like the early 2000s.
Before my time.
All right. So what do we have here? So we got through the Max Moon video. Only 6 days until B1 June.
Woo! 6 days left. It's crazy. And if you want to be prepared, if you want to have your Everything EOS merch, head on over everythingeos.io. Get yourself some of this merch. I actually don't think it'll be there before this Saturday if you order now. But check it out. It's good EOS merch, and you'll get a merch NFT once we launch those in the future. But 6 days to the B1 June event, we just crossed 225 people. Is that right, Zach? 200.
Yeah, we had to up the cap. We have to keep upping the cap for our event on Friday, May 31st for the, what do we call it? EE31 May. So
so good.
We got the E31 May. So we originally had a cap of 100 people, and then it went to 200 people, and then we hit 225, and now we had to increase the cap to 250. We're getting kind of close. So if you're not going to come and you already RSVP'd, please un-RSVP for us just so we can get an accurate head count, because we do want to make sure there's enough like bartenders and servers and everything to kind of staff the whole thing. But I was a little bit nervous about the weather. We have the entire rooftop at the Biergarten Haus on H Street in Washington, D.C. So I was praying that we had sunshine, and we do. I got the weather forecast up right here. I might as well just share it.
Yeah, pull it up.
So we got the weather forecast here. I keep people are seeing my notes here.
That's all right.
Whatever. You can see my notes. Sense has an announcement on the 28th. I'm not going to say what it is. I guess they could see that I was planning to teach that. But yeah, so big news is the weather. We're going to talk about the weather on Everything EOS now. And Friday's sunshine, Saturday's sunshine, and Sunday is sunshine.
Yeah.
And to add on top of that, this whole thing is so cool because it's all about community, man. Like the technology of EOSIO is awesome, but really the coolest part about all of this is community. And we've been able to like see it and feel it firsthand since doing like this podcast and you being a block producer and doing everything you do as Cypherglass, but we like feel it to like the 100th degree.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what I'm looking forward to most this weekend. Yes, I want to see what Dan and Brendan have been doing and what B1 June's about, but I'm just as excited to meet everyone in the community, hang out with everyone Friday night. And we're talking about what can we do more? Like everyone, we noticed in all the channels, everyone was like, all right, so what are you guys doing Saturday before B1 June? We're like, I'm not doing anything. Maybe we should come up with something. So what's it saying? I was looking at the channel. So we have another event planned for Saturday, June 1st. So we have our own B1 June event planned, and it's called Scoot 1 June. If anyone's ever been to Washington, D.C., they have like 2 or 3 different companies that rent electric scooters. They're about 15 cents a minute, and
they're so fun. They're so fun. Oh my gosh.
So what we're planning to do is we're going to hang out with everyone Friday night. We have the Everything EOS event from 6 p.m. until whenever on Friday night. But then on Saturday during the day, what we're going to do is we're all going to get together in the afternoon and we're going to ride scooters. We're going to visit all of the memorials and monuments together. I'm going to have a shared pin location so that you could meet up with us at any point in the afternoon to come tour with us. It'll be in the Everything EOS channel on Telegram and on Twitter. That's on Twitter, Everything eosIO is our handle. And then on Telegram, it's t.me/everything_EOS. That's where we'll be sharing the links with the pins. But we'll be doing that all afternoon. But if you want to meet up for the actual thing, we're going to meet up at 5 p.m. at the Capitol building. I'm going to pull up the map here for what we're actually planning to do. Rob, cover me for a second here.
I got you. We just hit 100 watching. Looks like then 2 people dropped. We're at 98. But shout out to everybody that's taken time out of your Sunday to come join us on this special live edition of Everything EOS. We're going to do more of these, and thanks for your feedback on that. So here's the map right here. This is going from the Capitol building all the way to the DC Armory, which is where the B1 June event is at 6 p.m. This upcoming Saturday. It's crazy. It's this week. This week it's happening.
So this is the route we're going to take for our parade route of what did I say? Scooter 1 June. So
Scoot
we're all
1 June.
Scoot 1 June. We're all going to meet here at the Capitol building at 5 p.m. on scooters. So a lot of us are already going to be hanging out all day because there's all these monuments here. We're going to be like touring the whole park and stuff all throughout the afternoon. You can meet up earlier in the day. I'll have a shared pin. So if you want to find us, you'll just see my pin moving around Washington, D.C. We'll be on these scooters just scooting around. But at 5 p.m. at the U.S. Capitol building, we're all going to meet up. I hope there's at least like 50 of us. And we're going to rule. We're going to go 1.7 miles all the way to the DC Armory. We're going to be an Everything eosIO scooter gang. And it's going to be awesome. It's going to be the nerdiest thing ever. We're going to have the freaking coolest gang of nerds ever.
Oh, absolutely. These things are honestly, if you've never been on one of these scooters, it's like the Lyft scooters and the Bird scooters, and they look ridiculous when you're seeing them. But once you're on them, you realize why people ride them. When I was in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest to see the Blancos event, Adriana, our community manager at Cypherglass, and I like scootered all around the city, and it's the best way to see any city. And in this case, it'll be the best way to get to the B1 June event. So we're super excited to see you there. If you can't make it to our Friday night event at 6 p.m. at Beer Garden House, come scooter with us, Scoot 1 June. And we'll scoot on over to the B1 June event.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people planned to do on Saturday anyway was either visit some museums or they had plans to have meetings. Like this is a good time to meet for business. If you're an EOSIO developer or a project on EOS, it is a good time to meet. Well, guess what? We could all meet on scooters and we could have a big giant meeting and everyone's invited. Nobody's excluded. Doesn't matter if you've got an invite to B1 June. Doesn't matter if you come to the event the night before. You're invited. We just want to hang out, man. It's all about community. And
absolutely
we'll keep emphasizing that. But this week is going to be huge. So since people saw some of my notes, we have a note in there that says EOS DNS released sometime this week. What could you tell us about EOS DNS, Rob?
So EOS DNS is that solution from EOS Name Service. It was actually built by the folks over at EOS Cafe Block. You know Saeed from blocks.io. You know those guys over there. A great team and a huge, huge shout out to them for making that entire thing possible. They built EOS DNS from the ground up. It's their product. And we're doing a really, really deep integration with EOS Name Service. Excuse me. So if you're not familiar, eosnameservice.io lets you buy all kinds of cool account names. So I have rob.vr. Zack, I think, has Zack.vr. There are all kinds of different TLDs you can get. And we're about to launch a lot more later today or tomorrow as well. So you'll be able to get things like .hodl as an example. But essentially what EOS DNS does is it enables you to take any EOS account name like rob.vr and either redirect it to an existing website or actually use it to host a website like using DNS. You can actually use real DNS to point to that website. And it's this decentralized DNS system that the folks at EOS Cafe Block have been working on for a while. Super excited to finally get that out to you all. So in delivering on our promise of saying it would be out by the end of May, it will be out this week. We're waiting on one update to our Chrome extension from Google. So as soon as that's approved, we'll push it live. There'll be a big video. And we're hoping to do a special live stream later this week as well with Saeed from the team over at EOS DNS to kind of walk us through how it all works. But I'm hyped. I'm going to redirect rob.vr to like my Twitter page. We'll have an address for everything EOS, one for Cypherglass, one for everything. And I know Kenny over at EOS Writer has eoswriter.io that he's going to move to his real website. So it's going to be awesome. And I'm just excited to add even more utility to EOS accounts that already exist today. So it's going to be a good one.
So yeah, we have so much news this week. I think what happened was a lot of people were piggybacking on the B1 June. So like they saved like big updates and releases for either before or right after B1 June. Just I guess it probably increases the speculative hype on if it has anything to do with B1. I think I saw somewhere Everipedia might have some stuff coming out, but they said in one of their telegrams that it's not completely tied into B1 June or whatever. They're trying to quash some of the hype, but of course they're gonna say that. I mean, I have no idea who's working with B1, who's not. But speaking of not knowing if they're with B1 or not, StrongBlock. So if you guys have been following StrongBlock at all, they have an announcement coming out on Wednesday. So they're going to be at this conference I have up on the screen in Switzerland. I forget which one of these companies. I think one of these two companies is the company that gave them their seed investment. But as you can see on the agenda, there's a lot of familiar names. You see Thomas Cox and David Moss up on the screen a couple times. Also, Roger Ver is going to be the keynote speaker for any Roger Ver fans. But I have no idea what the StrongBlock announcement is. But a lot of people are excited and looking forward to that because what they're trying to do is trying to be the Red Hats of Linux, but on EOS. So like the enterprise like consulting team essentially. And it makes sense because a lot of they're all ex-VPs of Block One from during the crowd sale time, like before the mainnet launched. And also they're all like ex like Oracle guys and IBM guys, and they've all like worked at these like enterprise level like database companies, so that they have those business connections. They probably have a Rolodex of contacts that they can make. What's been confirmed? So they're working with Wax, right? Is that something that's basically public?
I believe that's public. One of their, I think that was their first like public client saying, hey, we're working with Wax to help them build on EOSIO. And originally I wasn't super excited about this. You know, I'm a huge proponent of the EOS mainnet, but with all of these rumors of what might come on B1 June, this upcoming Saturday, it's so crazy to say this upcoming Saturday, by the way, is actually B1 June. But depending on what that is, maybe this will actually be a very, very good thing for the entire EOS ecosystem, where all of these chains, public, private, can all be linked together in some way if we see some kind of an IBC, inter-blockchain communication solution at B1 June. So I don't know. It's going to be cool to see, but definitely an action-packed week. We got EOS DNS sometime this week. Tuesday, Sense says they have an announcement, and that's Sense Chat. Wednesday, StrongBlock has an announcement. And any day, Dan actually said that more code will drop this week on Telegram. So that's going to be.
Yeah, I just want to mention that I don't know the StrongBlock news, but I do know the Sense news, and it is big. That's all I'm going to say.
And he won't even share it with me. I asked him. He said he can't tell me.
We'll do probably either a video or a live stream. I'm not sure which one on Tuesday. I might just do a short video and edit it and stuff and post it after the announcement comes out. But you guys are going to love it. I could tell you that right now. And Sense is awesome. If you haven't used it yet, download it. You can go to sense.chat, download the app. It's super cool. It's one of the most innovative. It's the absolute best messaging app, I guess, at this point. But I'm waiting for the next iteration. I want to get a profile picture on there and be able to change my username. And we've also talked to their team a little bit about getting an Everything EOS channel on there, which would be cool. So we'll be able to. But at the same time, we're like waiting. What's Block One doing? Because you mentioned something Dan said on I think Telegram, but I'd like to talk about what Brendan said on Telegram. I'm trying to pull it up on the screen. I'll read it right now. He said, "We're focused on giving this community a new home to communicate, a place where we can grow more healthily and invite the world to join us." So what's that mean to you?
Honestly, to me, I mean, if you think about, and we talked a little bit about this on the last live stream, I believe, if you think about where the EOS community exists today, it's in Telegram. Pretty much every other, if you have an ICO community or the Ethereum community, all of these crypto communities live in Telegram. So when I think of, we're focused on giving this community a new home to communicate, I am personally thinking this is some competitor to Telegram. Maybe their social network will sort of enable you to create all these little groups and hop in and out of them, and then they'll build on top of that and add more features in the future. So that's what I think it is. I think it's probably tied in with the social network formerly known as Mios, which is now clearly doesn't have EOS in the name, as both Dan and Brendan have said. So I'm excited about it, whatever it is. But a new place to communicate, a new Telegram that isn't centralized would be great, because I know a lot of people have problems when they share too many links, or Telegram, their bot makes an error, they get banned for like 7 days from Telegram and they can't communicate with anyone. So to have a truly decentralized one where we could, for example, own the Everything EOS channel would be very, very cool.
I need you to keep covering for me. I'm trying to pull something up right now.
Yeah, no worries. While you're pulling that up, it's kind of amazing all of the stuff that's also going to happen. Obviously, Dan promised more code this week on Telegram. If any of you out there are following the EOS project, they're aiming to build private untraceable transactions on EOS. And Mel, who's sort of the lead anonymous project developer at EOS, of course, like many other privacy tokens, the entire team is anonymous for their own safety and sort of security of the overall project. But Mel has teased that the long-awaited EOS wallet will actually have an update post later this week. They've been putting the finishing touches on it. And that EOS wallet will be the first wallet client that enables you to actually send those private untraceable transactions on EOS. So recently they put out that big UTXO code update. It wasn't even something that was mentioned in their white paper. And because they saw Everypedia working on it, they said, hey, we're going to do it the right way and release it real quick to sort of prove that they can code. And now this is the next big thing coming this week, is that wallet. So I'm hoping that we'll see that soon and see what that's all about before it gets integrated into every other wallet that exists right now.
All right. So last week on Wednesday, whenever we were doing the live stream, Max Moon, speaking of Max Moon, he was trying to kind of spread something he found called Katina. Did you actually get a chance to look at that and have any idea? Like, it kind of got shut down, but it's really not shut down completely. I have it up on the screen, so I'm just going to let everyone watch it. I'll just leave it go. It's just some nice animations, yada, yada. And then
I did notice he put out a correction. So originally he was saying, oh, this is it. This is the, Block One social media network is named Katina. I really hope that's not the name. No offense if it is. It just seems like, how do you pronounce it when you see it? It doesn't seem like the best for it. But if you go to katinafin.com, I think it is, it actually looks like a financial product that's going to launch something very similar to an ETF, an exchange traded fund in Europe for EOS. So there's this financial product that it seems like they're creating, according to the website, that will enable people to trade EOS in traditional markets, similar to an ETF.
So there's more to it. So, okay. So Max thought it was the name of what we've been calling EOS. And I think that's kind of been shut down. But it is a real thing, as you were saying. So the first thing I did was I went on LinkedIn and was seeing if I could find it. I'm going to pull this guy up right now. So there is a company on LinkedIn. So Olivier, I'm not even going to try to say his name.
Francois.
He's the co-founder and director of Katina. Katina was established with the purpose of providing access to fiat markets for digital assets through the creation of regulated financial instruments. In 2018, Katina raised a seed round to create a suite of regulated products aimed at giving retail and institutional investors access to digital assets. Katina will launch their first regulated product, an EOS tracker, in 2019.
Yeah.
So that's what we could speculate around, is like, this is a real thing. Like, it's not Block One. I think there was some confusion because on that website, like, basically copied the B1 June sign up, I guess, which leads me to believe that maybe they're part of the announcements as like this company that might be doing stuff on EOS, but they're not necessarily working with Block One. I have no idea about that, but we can verify it's a real thing. I messaged a guy and asked him about it, and he told me to just email him. Still have yet to do that. So if he catches this, I will email you. I want to know more. Hopefully we'll get to meet this weekend, but it's a real thing is what I'm saying. Is Max found it and then he retracted that it was EOS, which is cool. It's not EOS. It's something that might even be cooler than EOS, because we know that Block One's got EOS or whatever it's going to be called covered. And this is an additional product. So that's cool, because now we have at least two things that we can confirm are coming in 2019, whether it's B1 June or not.
Definitely. And what's exciting about this to me is just it has the potential to add way more liquidity. The little blurb that I read was talking about exchange traded notes, which I guess is similar to an ETF. It allows institutions to basically get exposure to EOS, and it looks like it was launching in Europe. So whether it's just there or it's global or whatever, I'm excited about it because it brings more liquidity, more legitimacy to EOS overall. So super exciting. I hope that's one of the announcements at B1 June.
So, okay, another correction from last week during the live stream on Wednesday was we talked a little bit about Facebook, even though everyone was like, stop talking about Facebook. And then like an hour after the live stream, Dan shut it down. He said, no Facebook partner, LOL, in Telegram. And that's fine, because I think we kept saying during the live stream is that like they don't have to be partners. Like EOSIO is open source code. So I'm not saying Facebook's doing diddly squat with EOS, but that's not saying that they couldn't. So anyone's able to freely build on EOSIO. When Wax launched, or at least announced their launch in May before the mainnet even launched, like they have yet to ever partner with B1. The mainnet's not partnered with B1. Talos isn't partnered with B1. All of these side chains, sister chains are not partnered with B1. That doesn't mean they're not using EOSIO. So I just want to throw that out there. I don't think we're going to see a Facebook anything, but I'm just saying like this global coin stuff that might come out later this year, there's nothing stopping them from using EOSIO, just like there's no one stopping you from using an SQL database or a MongoDB database. It's all just open source code. So B1 doesn't have to have anything to do with it. We'll move on from there because I don't think there's any Facebook news.
One thing I want to talk about that both Brennan and Dan have sort of hinted at or even like directly said in the past is scaling Bitcoin. So with that whole Galaxy Digital thing that came out recently, we found out as part of that Block One owns 140,000 Bitcoin, which is pretty crazy. It's more than $1 billion right now. If Bitcoin ever hits $100,000, it'll be $14 billion. It's an insane amount of money that they have, almost 0.8% of the current mine supply of Bitcoin. So close to 1% if you remove Satoshi's coins, remove the coins that people know are lost right now. So one thing that's kind of interesting, Dan has been putting up that peace emoji. Could that too mean layer 2 scaling for Bitcoin? Is that what this is going to be, do you think?
I think it might be. So I just pulled some of my notes up. But Block One, they own 140,000 Bitcoin. And today, someone just joined. What was that noise? Where did you say it? Damn, I lost it. Today, Dan here it is. So right on the screen, it says, any thoughts? This is just this morning at 11:40 a.m. Someone asked Dan, any thoughts on scaling BTC using EOS software as a second layer solution since B1 is the bag holder of BTC? Dan says, lots of thoughts. And this isn't the first time he said anything about scaling Bitcoin. That's, I think, what you were alluding to earlier is, so this, what if I told you crypto would hate it? That's from the shower coin days back in November. So I'm just trying to kind of tie that in. But going back to April 1st, Dan made an interesting tweet on Twitter, obviously. He said, in the future, most Bitcoin will transact as a token on faster networks like EOS and being backed by automated multi-sig deposit and withdraw. Lightning clearly won't get us to the future without a flux capacitor. So what if part of B1 June, he just basically said it, man. Automated multi-sig deposit and withdraw.
Absolutely. And that has been one of the biggest criticisms of the eBTC and ETH and eUSD systems that are live on EOS right now, where if you want, if you're playing on dice.one or one of these other sites, you can go in and you can bet with Bitcoin or Ethereum or even US dollars, which is linked to Tether. But the main problem and the main criticism is that they have centralized pegs. So if I want to deposit my Bitcoin, I deposit it into this centralized entity. They then give me a token on the EOS mainnet that I can use to, move around and transact as Bitcoin. And when I want to go back, I pay a fee to that centralized entity to convert my eBTC, my EOS Bitcoin, over back into Bitcoin on the real Bitcoin chain. But imagine with this, if you could have an automated multi-sig deposit, imagine if you didn't have to deal with counterparty risk at all. There was no centralized entity that could come in and, take the reserves backing that token on EOS. If it was all in a multi-sig that was automated, that nobody actually controlled, and that you could get your Bitcoin out of at any time, this could be big and could be something that maybe even some of the hardcore Bitcoin maximalists would find themselves using to avoid some of these Bitcoin fees, especially if we get into another bull market and the fees start going up like crazy again, just like they did back in 2017.
EOS can scale Bitcoin. Bloomer said it himself on Twitter, January 4th, 2019. So this isn't a new concept. They've been talking about it for a while of scaling Bitcoin. So I think you said it earlier, is we keep saying the new emoji is the 2. Could the 2 mean second layer scaling solution for Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments or the chat if you think that's part of what June 1st is going to be about.
Yeah, if you agree, drop a 2 in the chat. It's pretty cool. And I like what Dan said also. He said that the 2 has multiple meanings. So maybe there are 2 major announcements, 2 major partners, 2 EOS VCs that come on board, and a second layer solution for Bitcoin. I don't know. But it's just, I'm so thankful that this is a June 1st event and not like a June 31st event. Because at this point, I feel like we've been waiting a while where there's so much hype building around this event. And we're not overhyping it. Don't worry, Dan. The Facebook rumors and everything are gone. But I think I can speak for the entire EOS community when I say that we are ready to find out what it is that Block One's been working on and finally get, the cat out of the bag, get the mystery out there and alive. So it's
And I think there's a lot of people where they're just sick of hearing all the speculation, but there's like not a whole lot of other news. Like usually when we prepare for these podcasts, there's too much news to even cover. I use a lot of sources. Shout out to EOS Go, dapp stars. Those are actually my two go-tos. EOS New York obviously puts out a great newsletter every Wednesday, but like there's not that much news outside of Block One. And a lot of it's because all of these independent projects are waiting to see what Block One has to put out. Because they don't want to put out a competitive product like 2 days before Block One blows us all away.
I've been talking to a lot of people behind the scenes. You know, I keep up to date with what people are working on, other block producers, just people that are, you know, developers of the ecosystem. And a lot of them share that sentiment. They're like, you know, we were going to launch this in May, but I think we're just going to wait until June just to, you know, make sure that Block One doesn't release some kind of a competitor or some kind of a product that would compete with them in some way, where maybe they need to pivot. So I think that's smart on their part, but what's so exciting about that also is that we've still had so much good news happen over the past few weeks, even with B1 June looming over everybody's heads. But now we may see a flurry of community-based news after the actual B1 June event, after everybody's like, whew, okay, they didn't release the product that we've been building. Now we can release it for everybody as well. So obviously we don't think that Block One is building a DNS solution. So that's why we're releasing EOS DNS later this week. But it's going to be so cool. I think June 1st is going to kick off so much more than just Block One announcements. I think we'll see a bunch of other announcements from the EOS community after that as well.
Well, we actually have another Bitcoin announcement. So we talked about how we think potentially Block One's got a second layer solution for Bitcoin, but I'll pull up my screen yet again.
Yeah,
Rami James. So the Scatter 11 pre-release is out, and it added Bitcoin support to Scatter. So that means you can link your Scatter wallet to your EOS account, which is super cool. Crap, I'm scrolling through my notes again, but I just got some cool screenshots up here from the Scatter 11 release. So just super cool. This is the I think this is games. They have the DGoods gallery in here too. I don't think I have a screenshot of it, but this is really cool too, is it allows you to link multiple accounts to an app. And they said that'd be good for like an exchange, so that an exchange, and this is all with permissions too. I like how it shows what you're giving permission to the application, similar to like whenever you link a Gmail account to an app to use the OAuth login. It tells you like, we're going to give you access to my Drive, to my emails, to my site history. On this, it's very similar, where it says, okay, they get your first name, last name, email, and it makes it very clear so that you know exactly what you're agreeing to, because obviously no one wants to just blindly click something and give them more data than they want, or than you want to give them, I should say.
Absolutely. I'm excited for Scatter and the whole DGoods marketplace and everything, because when we launch our Everything EOS merch NFTs, you're going to be able to store all those, see them in your wallet. So imagine you buy a shirt like this at everythingeos.io, and then we send you a merch NFT for free that represents that digital shirt as a token. So you can actually view the shirt, the 2D or 3D model of the shirt as the token, and then imagine using that on your Blanco in the Blancos game when that comes out later this year, or so many other games that exist today. And they'll all, of course, be limited edition. So super excited about that. We got some good comments.
190 here. People in here. Like, yeah, I need to see what's going on in this live chat here.
Woo. It's crazy. People are saying Juning. I accidentally said Juning. That's the new moon. I like that.
Juning.
Accidental meme. It's the new hodl. I love it. Some people saying, Esam says a UBI within a social network is going to be the big news, in my opinion. And I have
it's part of the big news. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think UBI is a component in this. With all of the talk that both Brendan and Dan have said about UBI is the new, it's the best way to acquire customers. It's the new business model. Incentivizing people to use your product or service in some way is obviously going to be have a much bigger advantage over competitors that don't incentivize their people to use their product or service in some way. So I think that's sort of going to be a component of whatever it is they release, regardless of what it is. I think UBI in some form, some kind of creative incentive model will definitely be there. We got GG Gang in the house. Welcome to the Gang.
All right, I got more Bitcoin dirty talk here. So this is a blog post from like a couple weeks ago from Sam at Everpedia. And I just want to just read this out loud, because we're going to convert this to audio. So I want to just make sure the audio folk could enjoy this also. It says, Lightning Labs, one of the main companies behind the development of the Lightning Network, has raised less than $3 million, according to Crunchbase. Blockstream, which is supposed to be the behemoth leading the majority of BTC dev efforts, has raised $101 million. That's only 10% of the EOS VC fund alone. Additionally, Despite being in development much earlier than EOSIO, Lightning has 3,000 less commitments on GitHub versus EOSIO, which is one of the most active blockchain repos in the world. The EOS community has the technical expertise, and Block One has the resources to spur on research and development in new initiatives, such as BTC scalability. For example, if Block One created even a small, relatively speaking, EOS BTC scalability fund, EOS could, ironically, be the most well-funded, highest development activity, and promising BTC scaling technology overnight.
Absolutely. I like this a lot. And if you think about it, I mean, it's 10%, that 100 million that Blockstream got is 10% of the EOS VC fund, but only 2.5% of the $4 billion that Block One raised. So it's crazy to think about, you know, if we go back to the tweets that Brendan and Dan were both talking about, where, you know, all these communities are going to work together. It's not going to be this sort of religious infighting, Ethereum versus EOS versus Bitcoin. Oh, mine's better, yours is worse, this whole thing. Instead, it's going to be everybody working together. And maybe this is the way they plan to do it, by actually, you know, releasing these little funds, releasing these development efforts to go ahead and help these other projects scale like Bitcoin. And of course, with them owning 140,000 Bitcoin, it seems like a pretty logical step. I don't expect them to come out and try to scale Ethereum. They don't own any ETH for very good reason. But I think Bitcoin is not too far off, especially with all the comments.
Back to the Everpedia post. And this post is like, we didn't talk about this on May 15th, but it says the only feature, and this came out whenever they had their UTXO solution. So they put out a UTXO solution, which is feeless transactions on EOS without even owning EOS, I believe, or an EOS account. And then right after that, didn't Dan post a tweet replying to that saying he had a slightly better solution? And then POS came out with their UTXO solution around that same time. So there's like,
yeah, I'm not sure about the Dan tweet, but I know that POS released their UTXO solution, which was true UTXOs that enables things like ZK snarks and all of these other privacy technologies to be built on top of it. And then Sam, that very same day, shortly after that post came out, Sam, who wrote this post from Everpedia, came into the POS Telegram chat and said, "Hey guys, thanks for building this. We're going to build on top of this as well." So it seems like Everpedia has kind of moved their existing UTXO efforts to the side since POS already released the working code on the Jungle testnet.
So I guess I got to read this. It's been on the screen for a little bit for the people that are just listening. And it says the only feature left to build at this point, this is Everpedia saying it after they released their UTXO stuff, is for swapping BTC into the EOS mainnet and back into BTC's layer 1 in such a way to preserve BTC layer 1 security guarantees. Once that step is implemented, EOS will, unexpectedly to most, be the best bet that Bitcoin has in the near to medium term at effortlessly increasing its throughput to thousands of transactions. Admittedly, the final step of two-way trustless BTC swap is difficult and could take months to build, or Block One might have it on Saturday. We'll see. But this post is meant to serve as a signal to the EOS community and greater crypto community to be aware of the underappreciated and unseen potential of EOSIO technology as it relates to Bitcoin and other proof-of-work digital assets that need layer 2 scalability solutions. Not only is the EOS mainnet a great solution increasing throughput, it's also the most feature-rich scalability solution. After all, it's literally a Turing complete chain. So imagine Bitcoin with smart contract capabilities, all of that stuff. It could completely innovate Bitcoin. So it has the store of value that Bitcoin carries, and it has all of the features of EOS at the same time.
Absolutely. And I mean, to his point that this could be, you know, sort of ironically with all the Bitcoin people that really don't like EOS for whatever reason, you know, they bought a lot of the FUD. If you think about a scaling solution that exists today, Lightning Network, that's very, very popular, there are a lot of horrible user experience UX problems with that actual product. Things like having to pay a transaction fee to open up a channel with somebody else, pay to close that channel. At a certain point, if the value in the channel gets too high, you can't actually close it, which is why the Lightning Network torch on Bitcoin died and why the EOS torch continues to get passed around on EOS. And we got a super chat here from Ray Gonzalez, $5. Thank you, Ray. He says, "You guys rock. Keep up the great work. We appreciate it, man. Thank you." I mean,
this is a good spot for us to talk about that. So yeah, this is our second live stream in a row. Everyone seems to like, we have almost 200 people in here live. So we're going to keep doing them. So as you can see us on screen, it's a Zoom call. It's not the highest quality. And we have people who have made comments both episodes that I'm on the wrong side of the screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm usually on the right and Rob's usually on the left. But this is just temporary. I'm actually learning some better software that's going to give us a much better user experience for you guys. We're going to integrate it with the EOS blockchain, we're going to have ways to do tipping, and it's going to automatically pop stuff up on the screen based on a smart contract. That probably won't be V1, but we will have way cooler stuff. I got like this little, this little switchboard here. Let's be like push buttons, and these are like screens, and we'll be able to have all kinds of cool stuff. I'm just trying to learn it because I don't want to jack up a live podcast and break things in the middle of and have one of us get muted. But we're just trying to get through the technology. That's why we're kind of using training wheels with Zoom here. But we do have full intentions to make this a completely engaged experience for everyone. It's going to be so much better. And what we're really hoping for is that we're just kind of preparing for the next level. And we're trying to get off of YouTube eventually and onto something on EOSIO. But we're waiting for someone to build it. So if anyone's building a video platform that's going to have streaming integrated, let us know, because we want to be one of your early adopters, 100%.
Absolutely. Maybe Block One will have that as part of their social media network. Who knows? Just go and try to kill Facebook, kill YouTube, kill Telegram, all at the same time.
Kill them all.
Fell swoop.
Maybe Max Moon's right. Kill them all from that video at the beginning with the the SWAT team raid.
So good. If you guys didn't see that, be sure after the live stream, go back to the very beginning of the video for that pretty funny meme. We got a good
Someone wants to know what your cat's name is.
Yeah, introduce your cat someday. So this is Billion, who's sitting right here. This is Bill, Mr. Bill, somebody you want to call him. He's hanging out. He's my snoozy cat. Million's actually over there out of frame, and then I have Poe, who's the black cat. So that's Million, Billion, and Poe. They're really sweet cats. Bill wants some love right now, always while I'm live on the podcast.
Got to pull up the screen again. So more Everpedia stuff. So Everpedia, that UTXO stuff that they're talking about, they call it DecentralBank. And if you want to keep up on that, you can go to t.me/DecentralBank in Telegram, and you can see what's going on. There's only like 150 people in there, so it's still relatively untapped. But they were talking about, on the main net, the contract's live for Bitcoin transactions. You could actually do Bitcoin transactions using this today. And also in the Scatter 11 pre-release, you could actually not buy and sell. You could actually like transfer Bitcoin from your Scatter wallet. But it is still beta, so they do recommend like not sending large amounts. But what was interesting in the DecentralBank channel is they were talking about Tether. So all of the Tether I've ever used has been the ERC20 version, but apparently it originated on Bitcoin when Omni created Tether in the first place. And a lot of the OG Tether is still on Bitcoin. So with this UTXO stuff, there's nothing that's actually stopping a bunch of Tether from also moving to EOS. So that's pretty cool too. Like we keep seeing all these stable coins, and I'm excited for it. Even they're just stable coins, but there's so many of them.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, it adds real utility to so many apps. There are reasons why you would want a stable coin versus, one that's very volatile and fluctuates in the market. And we got two more super chats. Boss Vanderlaan says, and I apologize if I said your name wrong. And we got roughly €2.5. He says, Dan equals Pios's Mel. I have some theories on that as well. People saying that Pios is like a CIA black project from Block One, that Dan, wanted to do it publicly, but realizes he can't. So it's a private team. I think it's possible, but I wouldn't dive too hard in that, and obviously don't make any financial decisions based on that rumor. DFW Play, $5. Thank you, man. Your content is on point. Great job. Go EOS. Go EOS, my man. Thanks.
All right. I got to give one more shout out to stablecoins. So EOSDT came out recently. That's pretty cool. There's eosUSD. They changed their name. I forget what that is. Dan put out something on a stablecoin. On an EOS radio recently, Ayal from Bancor was teasing some sort of stablecoin. What else? Other news this week, I think Ash Oro and his brother Zane have something coming out this week also. I don't think it's been publicly mentioned yet, but it's a pretty cool thing. I'll say that. I'll let them kind of spill the news. But Dmitry Morozov, however you say his name, I know he's in our Everything EOS channel a lot, so that's why I'm going to give him a shout out. He came out with a new stablecoin called the Buck Protocol is live. I have not messed with it at all. But basically, it allows margin trading, insurance pulling, and a stable coin. So if you want to check this out, I'll put a link in the description after this video is done. But if you're into the stable coins and you're trying to keep track of all of them, and also ways to make divs and passive income, you can make a 7% APR by holding stable coins on this. So it's like divs are like the new altcoins at this point. I mean, they are altcoins, but divs are the future, man. BetDice is leading the way. They were the very first one. We saw that big run in the fall. And I think 2019, 2020, it's going to be the years of the divs, man. The years of the dapps and the years of the divs. And this is just another opportunity. You could hold a stable coin and get a 7% APR using the Buck protocol. And I'll have more information about this in maybe next time. I have not dug into it deep, but I just saw that 7% APR on holding stable coins. It's freaking awesome.
I think what's so cool and definitely worth mentioning about all of these different protocols, you know, at the bottom of that post, it says Buck Protocol is live on the EOS mainnet right now, so you can try it out. I've never been a part of another crypto community, and I've been part of a lot. I've been a part of Bitcoin and then Ethereum for a couple of years, then Lisk and Rise, jumping around to all these little DPoS communities before I noticed that EOS was announced at Consensus 2017, and obviously jumped on this train and have been here ever since. But I've never been a part of another crypto community that innovates so quickly and has such an engaged community, like the 200 people watching us live right now.
And the 225 that have RSVP'd for our event, the hopefully 50 to 100 that are going to come ride scooters with us, like a bunch of freaking nerds around Washington, D.C.
It's so cool.
We got artists. We got freaking EOS artists that just like make art. And speaking of art, Bonds, I see you in the channel. Check out Prospectors. Have you had a chance to play it yet? Because I unfortunately have not had the time to play it yet, but I know it looks super cool. It's a big MMO. I was following it a lot when the PGL token launched, the Prospectors Gold token, and sort of track their whole, you know, development progress and the like graphic updates they're putting out. But I haven't had a chance to play it yet. Is it on mainnet yet, or is it just on Jungle still? I think it's Kylan. Bonds, you're in the chat, man. You got to let us know, buddy. Give us a link to Prospectors in the chat. Absolutely. Once it's live on mainnet, I'll probably hop in and start playing it. It's sort of similar to, you know, World of Warcraft's coming out with Classic again, and like I don't want to play the beta. I want to play it when it's live so that the progress counts. You know, Isaac says, love the work you do. $5. Can't wait to get started on the dev courses. Go EOS. Thank you, Isaac. And if you're out there, if you're like Isaac, whether you have programming experience or not, obviously, if you have some programming experience, it'll be easier to get started. But if you've ever thought at all about building on EOSIO, head on over to everythingeos.io/dev, and you can be like Isaac and try our dev courses. Thank you, man, for that $5. We appreciate it. What else we got, man? We've been out of notes for a little bit. We're just kind of winging it here. You got anything else we got to do, or should we leave them wanting more at the end of this? I think, as is tradition here on the podcast, we should give away a Blanco. What do you think about that? Yeah, let's give away a Blanco. Ooh, let's see. Let me open up my Blanco drawer here. You got a Blanco drawer? Oh, yeah. I got a Blanco drawer. All right, we're going to give away this time. Last time we gave away a multi-Blanco, one of the exclusive Blancos from South by Southwest. This one is a little more rare. This is the Peanut FC, and I'm covering up the QR code. Check that out. This will be redeemable for the Peanut FC character in the Blancos game later this year. You can blend it with other Blancos. It's going to be awesome. So as is tradition on these live streams, let's give it away. So what we're going to do this time, Zach, why don't you send me a number between 1 and 100, and we'll let everybody guess. I'm going to send it to your cell phone number. All right. So Zach is sending me a number 1 to 100 to close out the show. I got the number here. Now, everybody in the chat, if you want to win the Peanut FC, type one number 1 to 100. Whoever gets it first, based on how it is in order on our screen, will win the Blanco. So yeah, just a reminder, the default is the top post in the chat. So you got to switch it to live chat to see the actual order so no one complains about guessing. We got a winner. Mr. Sheffield 37, that's actually kind of crazy that the number is in your name. The number was 37 that Zach texted me. Congratulations, Mr. Sheffield 37. Send me a DM on Telegram at Finchify, Finchify, or hop into the Everything EOS Telegram, t.me/everything_EOS. The Peanut FC Blanco is yours. Congratulations. And thanks to everybody else for throwing all those numbers in the chat. Tune in next time and maybe you can win another Blanco. Anything else to add, Zach? The number will always be 37 whenever I could, whenever I have a choice. That's awesome. What's that from? What's that jersey? It's my one football jersey. Oh, nice. Wow. Going back to the old going back to the college days. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, I think last time we played this game, my number was 37 also. Like wow. we did when we did the original Blancos live stream giveaway. Like we gave away like 10 of them. That's awesome. I'm just writing this down. Mr. Sheffield 37. I think that's appropriate. They had 37 in their name that they won. But you have anything else to add, or should we close this one out? I think we should try to sync up the closeout and take it home. Let's do it. All right, guys. It's been fun. We had we had over 200 people in this live chat. I can't wait to see over 200 of you on Friday. And hopefully, I don't even know how many people are invited to the B1 event on Saturday. Hopefully over 1,000 of you. We'll hang out all day on Saturday, all night on Friday, and all night on Saturday again. So I can't wait to see you all. But this is it for this weekend's live stream podcast. Once again, I'm Zack Gall. I'm Rob Finch. And this is Everything EOS. And remember, go EOS!
Let me get a go EOS in the chat. Hit the like button. We'll see you next time.